Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. We done got the splits. I've always been the girl that goes to the gym, does her cardio, does her lifts, and then leaves. I've never super been into intentional stretching until about the last 6 months or so. Luckily for me, I've worked with coaches and trainers in the past who would always integrate different stretches into my normal lifts and into my normal workouts. I didn't know they was doing that until later, but I thank them for it. And of course, if you're doing any strength training program and you're training in a full range of motion and you're lifting weights using loaded weights, then it's going to help increase your flexibility. It's going to help elongate your muscles, which is always a plus. But it's even better if you actually set aside time to stretch, to mobilize, and to work on your own flexibility. Okay, so flexibility for your splits can be broken up into two areas. The hip flexors and your quad area from the leg going backwards, and your hamstring from the leg going forwards. I found that with my legs going backwards on both sides, that my hip flexors and my quads were the things that were really tight. And I had to put the most work in, which surprised me because I always thought my hamstrings gave me trouble, but I guess not as much as my quads and my hip flexors. So to hit your splits, you want to be doing stretches to target those areas. The fronts of your legs, the hip flexors specifically, your quads as well can help, and the hamstrings in the back. You can do whatever stretches you like that targets those areas to elongate those muscles, but I'm gonna show you guys some of my favorites and the ones that I've done over the past 2 to 3 months that have helped me get my splits. Stretching and flexibility is important because it helps to prevent injuries, muscle strains, muscle tears right now, but also in your future. If you're hoping to age and to be able to move without pain, to be able to move and to stay limber, then you need to have some kind of stretching routine that you're doing every single day. Now, you always want to warm up and prime the body, warm up your muscles before you're doing any kind of stretching routine. And typically I would do my routine after my gym session. So I go to the gym, do cardio, do my lifts. I'd be warmed and ready, like way warmed and ready, and then I start my stretches. But right now, I'm clearly not at the gym. So I'm gonna warm up with you guys so you can see some of my favorite ways to warm up when I'm at home. First, we're gonna start with the hip circles. You wanna stand, get your feet, slightly wider than shoulder length apart, and just warm up your hips. I look ridiculous. But 10 circles on each side. So make sure you rotate around. Feel like one makatu. No, okay, stop. Then we're gonna do some bounces and some pike folds, okay? So with this, I'm just really keeping the muscles loose and really just trying to warm them up. So I'm bounce down. Not too much. I'm not like hurting myself or hurting my hamstrings or anything. Just warming them up. I know it looks bizarre, but it actually does a really good job of warming up your lower body. Just make sure that you're staying fully loose and relaxed while you do this stretch. Now we're just gonna step out into a lunge, get some dynamic movements going just to continue warming up our body. You wanna keep your flat foot straight. Knees over your toes is what we want. Just alternating each leg. Then some side lunges if you still feel like you need to, warm up your hips a bit. Just lunge out to the side. I also just really like squatting down low and opening up my hips. I literally do this like every day though. All right, now we're gonna get into some stretches that I want you to hold for a bit longer than the others. The others are just warming up the muscles, priming the body, getting blood flowing. But right now, I want you to actually kind of hold these positions and really feel the stretch. So we lunge forward, and right now, we're really trying to stretch out this hip flexor here and the quad muscle. So what we're doing is pushing our hips down and forward, trying to feel this stretch here in this area. And you can play around with it, if you need to, leaning more forward with your torso or staying further upright. This is of course a bit better, but you can build up into it. If you also need to rest your back leg on the ground, that's fine too, because you can still push this area forward. Another thing that really helps is to think of your pelvis and to tilt it forward as well. So instead of pushing your butt back, we're scooping it under and tilting it forward, which helps to increase that stretch. Tilt that pelvis forward, stretch out that hip flexors, stretch out this quad, just stretching out this whole front area of your leg. I don't know why I'm sweating, oh my God. To make this even more challenging, you can reach up, if you have balance, and grab the back leg and pull it closer to your butt. And that way it stretches this out even more. Ugh. Being on this hard ground is hurting my knees. Oh my God. I am not trying that again on this floor. Stretches can typically be broken up into two categories, static stretches and dynamic stretches. And I like to do both when it comes to getting my splits. I typically like to start off with some dynamic stretches, which is a controlled movement that engages a range of muscles throughout motion, versus static stretching, when you're holding a position to keep a very specific muscle at a fixed length and tension. Like I said, I do both for my splits. I do both in everyday life. And I like to start off with dynamic stretches for my splits and end with some static ones. With this one, I like to push my knee to like basically the back of the wall, have my foot up. If you have to scoot forward, it's perfectly fine. And sit back. This is another one where you want to tuck your pelvis underneath. Feel that stretch right here. Now it's perfectly fine if you have to like start and you're a bit lower, if you can't lift your chest all the way up. This is something that you'll slowly build and be able to do over time. Every time you stretch, it's going to be a bit uncomfortable, but it should never be painful. Don't push yourself into a stretch to the point where it's like actually painful, but there should always be some uncomfortability. And that's because your muscles, when they get aware of the extra stress and the tension that's being placed on them because they're being stretched out, they naturally want to contract and send signals to your brain saying, yo, 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 this is not normal, something is up. So we can definitely feel some uncomfortability in that. But if you just breathe through it and give it some time, your muscles will slowly kind of relax into the stretch, allowing you to get deeper into that stretch and to elongate. Now with this hamstring stretch, I'm trying to keep my chest up, my hips square facing forward, not like wonky out to the side, like both feet and my hips box facing forward. And I'm feeling this stretch here in my hamstrings, right in the back of my leg. So I just want to kind of push my butt back a bit and lean into it. Oh my God. Woo. When the toes start tingling and you gotta move something, that's when you know it's real. Don't forget to breathe into your stretches. Try to relax. Try to calm the muscle. I was gonna say get used to the pain, but again, it shouldn't be painful, just slightly uncomfortable. Maybe a little more than slightly with some of the stretches. I want to straighten my leg and really just focus, kind of making a triangle here, right? It's like a triangle stretch with the ground. The cool thing about stretching and flexibility in muscles is that they elongate over time during the duration of your stretch. Muscle actually changes under the tension of being stretched. And as you're working on your flexibility, your mobility, and your stretches, it actually changes up your brain and your threshold for pain tolerance, which over time allows you to get deeper into your stretches and to become more flexible. So unlike this rubber band, when I stretch, this rubber band is keeping the same exact resistance to this stretch. And our muscles, fortunately, are very different. This keeps the same resistance to the stretch versus our muscles, whose resistance to a stretch decreases over time, helping us to elongate and stretch even further. Now, this is a temporary thing that happens when you're stretching, which is why you might start stretching and after, 15 to 30 seconds of holding a position, you'll find yourself calming down, breathing, and sinking even deeper and stretching even further. And this will only last for a brief period while you're stretching and after you're done stretching. And by the time you grab your bag and you're in the car and you're driving home, that stretch that you got and the way you're able to elongate that muscle will go away with inactivity and in time. But if you're looking to increase your flexibility in a permanent kind of way, then you need to be stretching on a regular basis and at a regular frequency. They say you should be stretching 5 to 10 minutes for each muscle, 5 to 7 days a week. That's a lot. In all honesty, I would say that I actually do some type of stretches every single day, but as far as setting aside specific time for sessions of stretching, like what you're watching in this video, I did this for about 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. And that's what really worked for me. Now, outside of this very specific, I want to get the split stretch, I do typically do some warm-up stretches. I always kind of move my body and stretch first thing in the morning, but I highly doubt that it's, 10 minutes. Well, maybe it is 10 minutes a day every day. It might be, I don't know. The next stretch is a butterfly. I find this one works, best if you have your back up against the wall, flat up against the wall. You pull your feet as close to you as you can, and you just want to focus on having your hips open up and these touch the floor. This is a good one to add resistance to, so that way you can deepen your stretch. We're gonna do 10 reps, moving our knees up and us pushing back down. And then just push it down and hold straight for 10 seconds. And then you can repeat it again. It's perfectly okay if you're a bit more up here and you're not able to get down yet. You'll see improvement with time. Take pictures, take videos. Progress happens slowly over time. If you find this one really easy, or you just want to progress because you're already touching the floor, then it's a really smart idea to get a block to hold your feet up a bit higher and then press down from that. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna have room to do this stretch here. I highly doubt it. We'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of short, so no. I don't have the room, but maybe on this side a little bit. Yeah, the plant isn't gonna let me live my best life, but I love this stretch. I do it a lot at the gym. I still get stares. But I actually have gotten pretty flat doing it. I'll have to show you guys next time I'm at the gym. And it's a really, really good static stretch to do. Specifically, if you just want to open your hips and if you're really trying to get your box split. All right, you guys, the next stretch is one of my favorites, but it's actually also one of the most challenging. But I swear it's given me the most improvement in my flexibility in multiple ways. This is the frog stretch. So as you saw, I laid out this mat on the floor only so I could have a frame of reference for a line. It helps me to see a straight line so I can place my knees in the proper position. With this stretch, you want to keep your knees in line with your hips, and seeing a visual line on the floor helps me to do that. Your legs should be at a 90-degree angle. And remember, just keep your knees in line with your hips. If you start scooching forward to relieve the pressure, then you're really cheating yourself out of this stretch. This can be a stretch that takes a lot of time to get used to. You may have to start higher up and slowly work your way down, but I promise you, you can do it. I definitely started higher up before I was able to really lean into the stretch and see my flexibility grow, and now I can lay down on the floor. You want to sit in this stretch for about a minute. Remember to breathe and try to relax your muscles. Feel free to rock and move the tiniest bit while in this stretch to target other areas of the body. Lift up your legs, turning this passive stretch into a more active one. And we also have this alternative here. So using the line again, you see the line that I've created with my mat. I'm putting my knee down and trying to match where the heel of my leg is and my kneecap, as the aim is to still keep my knees in line with my hips and to rest in this spot. All right, next up, we're gonna do straddle stretch, but also, this is basic. I'm sure we're all familiar with just like reaching forward, grabbing and touching this foot. Hamstring is the back of your leg, right? It's in between your knee and your glutes, and you wanna keep your leg flat on the ground. You want to focus less on actually touching your toe and more so just focus on that pull here, focus on that stretch. So I can touch my foot, but it helps even more to get a deeper hamstring stretch if I really kind of, I guess, like straighten my back and kind of poke my butt out, because it's helping to extend that stretch. Versus if I round and I'm just, it looks like, oh yeah, I'm stretching and I'm lengthening, but this is like cheating, right? Because it's releasing the tension here on my hamstring. So kind of want to keep a flat back, keep it straight, and just hold that and feel that hamstring stretch. This is a straddle stretch. Honestly, it's one of my goals after the splits to be able to lay pancake flat down doing this straddle. We're building up to it, okay? But showing you guys some of my favorite stretches that helped me to get the splits. I do want to say, make sure that you are training and stretching each side of the body for the same amount of time. All right, we don't want no muscle imbalances. You're hyper flexible on this leg but not on this leg. Like, definitely try to keep the same time when you're stretching. When I stretch, I like to use a timer, and I typically try to hold the beginning stretches for about 30 seconds. But some of the more challenging ones, like the frog poses ones, a lot of plural words there, but I like to hold the frog poses ones for a minute, and I crawl out of them bad boys every single time. So once again, even with this straddle stretch, we're not rounding, flat, straight back, and just crawling forward. I want to be able to lay on the ground. I'm not there yet, but we're gonna get there if my boobs don't stop me. I feel like my boobs and my belly always stop me with stretches. And you can also, of course, just practice in your splits using blocks and things to help hold you up. So I used blocks for a long while, lowering them as I got lower until I didn't need them at all. Then I used my hands, and as you get deeper into it, then you're good. Another one of the stretches that I really liked that was like a split stretch was using the block and placing my foot up top. And then getting into the stretch, helping me get even deeper. This was really beneficial when I was close to the splits, but not quite there. And I just needed that little extra few inches, you know? I also use the blocks and do the same thing for the frog stretch. But I won't lie, I'm like really embarrassed to do this one at the gym, because it's just very much like butt in the air, come get them boys, you know? Like, no. This stretch already gives me looks at the gym. When I place blocks up and I'm laying down like this, it's just even more awkward, as you can imagine. Now for the box split, I'm still working on getting my box split. I basically almost have it, but I don't have it yet. I'm getting lower and lower with it, but I can't hit it quite yet. There's something I'm missing with the box split, but I don't know. I'm tired and sweaty. Oh, see the sweat. Like I said, I got my splits in 3 months. You might be able to get yours even sooner if you're really intentional and serious about a legit stretching routine. I'm still trying to get my box split, and it's on the way, it's on the way. But all of the stretches I showed you guys help you to get both splits. They're great stretches for your hip flexors, for your hamstrings, the quads, and just this whole area down here in general, which you can't even see because the camera's cutting me off halfway. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Actually, oh my God, I actually have some news. Oh my God, I have some news. I have a little itty bitty announcement. Okay, I'm trying to get you off the stand. Come on, let's go over here because I'm trying to sit down. Okay, so I'm excited because, as some of you guys know, I mean, I think I said it like 50 bajillion times, but I am now a certified personal trainer. I'm also studying to get my certification as a weight loss specialist through NASM as well. And I do plan to do online one-on-one training. Not just yet. The very first thing I thought I would do is try to work with my audience, because I appreciate you guys so much and your support. And there's so many people I've built like community with and friendships with and talking to you guys in my DMs. But I thought the very first thing I'd want to do is just work with you guys, because y'all's my A1 since day ones. So what I'm planning to do is a 30-day challenge the month of September. So it's a whole month away, but a 30-day challenge the month of September where I'm vlogging every single day, and you guys get to follow along with me doing the same workouts, you know, seeing the foods that I'm eating, cooking the food yourself as I'm preparing this meal plan, and we get to just tackle this entire month together. So that is a month away. It's not gonna start till September 1st. But one thing I did want to start now is to slowly build up, prepare, and get ready for it. Mainly because my shoulder's doing much better, and we're slowly getting back into squatting and just getting back into the gym after taking such a long break off. And so I want to be using this upcoming month of August to just bump up my intensity, to make sure that I am primed and ready to go when September hits, that y'all are ready to go when September hits, because we're going to hit September hard. So for the month of August, I'm just going to be having a goal of making sure I get 7,000 to 12,000 steps in each day, and that I'm hitting the gym at least 3 times a week. And I would love you guys' accountability and your help with that. And I would love just for us to build community around that. So I've had people ask in the past if it's possible to like be friends on our Apple Watches, and we could like see when we're working out and root for each other and send little comments and messages. And that sounds dope, but unfortunately, Apple only allows you to be friends with like 5 people. But what I did find was another platform that will allow large groups of people to connect their fitness trackers. It doesn't only have to be Apple Watch, like fitness trackers galore. And this platform will show each person their name and their activity, so what they're doing. So that way we can build community around each of us getting our steps in, each of us getting our workouts in, and each of us just building up momentum, getting ready for this September challenge to hit it hard. If you're interested in doing this with me, link is in the description box for you to check that out. Let's build community starting August 1st for each of us to be able to like follow each other, build a community, making sure we're getting our steps in, hold each other accountable. Like, this is the whole point of social media, is the social aspect. And so I'm just really happy. Thank you so much. Love y'all to pieces. I'll see you Monday with a new video. Bye.